So, when it comes to Facebook ads, how do we create better campaigns? How do we get more leads? How do we get better leads? And how do we get them for less money? How do we get a great return on investments? And what should be our mindset around advertising in general, especially on Facebook? These are the things we're going to be discussing right now. So, when it comes to creating better campaigns, first of all, you have to understand that when you're talking about increasing campaign structure, there's not that much you can do. We used to do a lot of interest targeting for that. Nowadays, it's all brought because computers are better at figuring out that themselves than we are. Now, the other part of campaigns is, of course, understanding what's going to get you good results. And that's absolutely crucial. So there's two things that you need to focus on. That's creative and offer. Creative is going to be really, really important. These are like the images you use, the content you use, the type of advertisements you use. When people are scrolling on Facebook or Instagram, they're like scrolling at 50 miles an hour, pausing everything. Attention is really hard to get on these platforms, so you need a strong hook and you need a compelling image that takes our attention. That's like why creative is really important. And we're seeing more of a shift towards creative, whereas in the past, copy was more important. But now, like creative is like the number one important thing in advertising. Apart from that, it's the offer, which is also really, really important. For some niches, it's more important than others. If you're selling something really expensive and unique, it's not going to be important. But if you're selling something there's a lot of competition, then you need to kind of have a compelling and unique offer for people to understand that you're different from other people. Maybe you're offering like a value add, something free that's interesting for them. Maybe you're offering discounts on something. Maybe you're doing some kind of promotion. Maybe you're working with some partner that's interesting for them. That's going to be the offer. Maybe you're doing like combo deals, things like that. This is going to be really important, especially if you're dealing with a highly saturated market. So those are two things that are really, really important when it comes to creating good Facebook campaigns. Now, how do we create better leads? Well, that's a discussion we can have because there's a difference in what you want to achieve. You can try to get leads really cheaply, or you can try to get leads that are like really high quality and will convert effortlessly. But usually speaking, when we're talking about better leads, we're talking about both getting leads cheaper and increasing the quality. Now, what you can do to get leads cheaper is, of course, to just have better advertisements. You need to make sure that you're testing different things to see which gets the best results, which gets the most leads and the best leads for the lowest costs. You will see that by analyzing how the ads perform each day. The other part is the quality of the leads, and you can improve that by making better advertisements. So having the messaging better, talking better to your customer, understanding your customer better, what he wants, so that if he is compelled to click on the advertisements, he knows he's there with a purpose, he knows what he's getting, and he knows why he clicked on that. That's how you get better quality leads. Also, another thing you can do is in the lead form itself, you can ask some questions to qualify them, basically, if they are the right customer for you, if they have the budgets, what's their motivation, if they've ever tried something like this in the past. That's one thing you can do. And then, of course, the other part is the appointment setting, which is once you get the leads, you call them up. You have to call them up over the phone. You have to at least try to be able to reply within the first 5 minutes, because after that, the response rate is going to be a lot lower. So first of all, reply within the first 5 minutes if you can. And then what you can do is, of course, when you have the customer on the line, you basically try to pre-sell them on the thing you're going to be selling them later on. So you just take a look at their motivation, why they responded to your ad. You kind of convince the person that what's on the other end of this deal is going to be interesting and useful for them. Of course, make sure that it's useful for them. but be able to convince that, and then people will be more likely to convert. So the next thing is, how do we improve the return on investment? Now, first of all, what is return on investment? That's going to be different depending on whether you're just a business owner or whether you're an agency owner and you're actually selling this to a client. If you're an agency owner, you're not just dealing with the ad spend, but you're also dealing with probably the retainer you're charging them. So, for example, you might have a client that is doing 1,000 in ad spend and 1,000 in paying you for the content creation, the management of the advertisements, and the market research you're doing. So in total, for example, you're charging that client £2,000. Now let's suppose that client is offering a service whereby each client he gets and he actually closes, he's making 3,000 profit of each client. Now let's say he's paying you 2,000 for 1 month, and you're able to get him 2 clients that actually close on his side. That means he makes 6,000 profit off of a 2,000 investment. So that's a 3x return on investment. Some people say it's differently, and they will flash numbers like 50x return on investment because they kind of cheat the calculations, or they don't make it as relevant, but that's not what we're going to do here. Now, the other situation is what you have is if you're just a business owner and you're just paying for the ad spend, maybe you might be looking into hiring an agency just for content creation or something. But most of if you're doing the ads yourself, you're just going to be doing everything yourself. So then you just have to worry about the ad spend. So then, for example, if you're doing 1,000 in ad spends and you're getting 3 clients or 4 clients that are each £1,000 in profit, then you're making a 4x return on investment because you're doing all the work yourself. You're creating all the advertisements yourself as well. That's what is return on investment. Now, second part is, how do we increase this? Well, we increase this obviously by making better advertisements and getting better leads. But what's really important to know is that the quality of your advertising is only one factor in this. There's actually 3 factors that are really important. It's creating better advertisements, and having a really good advertisement campaign is going to be the first link. The second link, which is equally important, by the way, is the appointment setting. So the way you call up the leads, the way you pre-sell them, the way you qualify them, the way you offer service to them, and the way you book them into the appointments for the clients. That's going to be really, really important, guys. Make sure you're calling up within the first 5 minutes. Make sure you're delivering value. Make sure you're professional. And then the third phase is basically sales. Now, this is where the lead is going to a sales meeting. So usually it's not called a sales meeting for the client, but for example, he's taking a physical consultation with our clients, or maybe our client is getting a quote, or the leads, or our client is going to the location of the lead and he's taking a quote for maybe like a bathroom renovation or something like that. That's where actually the sales happen, and that depends on the client. So if you have a client that is great at sales, that's going to be great for you, because that means he's going to be getting more profit and you're going to be considered as a better advertiser for them. But let's say if they're not great at sales, as an agency owner, it can be a bit of a problem. And then usually what you have to do is you have to kind of coach them on sales. You have to tell them how it's important and how this will help their business and help their profits. And in some cases, if they're like really a lost cause, you might have to look into hiring some people who do the sales for them. Or if you can, the best thing you can do is obviously take responsibility of everything and do the sales yourself for the client. But in a lot of cases, that's not going to be possible due to logistics or sometimes a mismatch in experience. So yeah, those are the 3 things that are really important that you can do in order to increase your return on investment. So when we're talking about the right mindset you need to have for getting good results with advertisements, we're talking specifically about paid ads here. mostly Facebook, but to some extent it also applies to like Google and TikTok or whatever you're doing. Um, One thing that's important to know is that a lot of it is about market research. So you need to really understand your customer and your market and what he wants and how you can compel him to take action. You can even dive really specific. For example, if you're a local business in Birmingham, you might want to look at just what's going on in Birmingham in the area you're serving, and also the niche, just figuring out what's the best thing you can talk to that local market that you're selling to. Or maybe you're an auto dealer in Antwerp, or maybe you're a personal trainer in Brussels, or whatever. You look at the local market. As more specific you can go, the better, really. The second thing you need to know is that a lot of it is about testing. So even once you understand the market, you're still going to have to create a lot of content and test a lot of different advertisements. And that's going to take some time. It's going to take experience. It's going to take reading books, looking at professional marketing agencies, what they are doing, maybe signing up for some courses. But it's all about testing the advertisements, seeing which ones get good results. And once you do have a winning ad, that's usually when you really can start to get good results and start to generate some serious profit. But the problem is the game isn't finished at that point, because you can still experience ad fatigue, which means that your local market is getting fed up with your advertisement. They've seen it too much times. It no longer resonates with them. That's why you need to continuously pump out new contents to get people engaged and keep people engaged, and also just see if you can make any improvements. So a lot of it is about testing. You need to test a lot of different creatives. Now, the third important mindset to have is that there's going to be fluctuations, guys, especially in most niches. You're going to have seasons that you're going to get good results. You're going to have off seasons where you're going to get bad results. For most businesses, the good months are around like the new year, January, then spring, like April, May, and then for some around September. And you might have like some really great results. You're getting a lot of leads. You're making a lot of sales. But then maybe in the off season, you're really trying your best. You're trying to create great advertisements, but nothing is working. Maybe you get some leads here and there, but you call them up. They're not that interested. They just seem to be going on holidays or whatever. So yeah, understand there's going to be fluctuations. And if you know this as a business owner, you know this, then you have an advantage, because if you know the off season is going to be for 3 months, it's going to be difficult to get sales and leads, then it might be good to consider not running ads for those months. If it's just like a small period, a few weeks, or maybe just 1 month, it might be good to keep continuously running the ads, because otherwise Facebook is going to penalize you for that. And also just the algorithm needs to understand what works. So those are the three mindsets that are really important to have. Understand the importance of market fluctuations during the seasons. Understand that you should test a lot of different advertisements, and understand that you really need to dig into your market and understand what compels them to create actions. Now, hopefully this advice was useful to you, and you can start to create some advertisements that generate some serious